why don't we get into the Michelle Trachtenberg story? Again, this story was just, my brother sent this to me when I was in the metro on my way to that comedy show I was telling you about yesterday. And I was in the metro and my jaw dropped. I said, no, like there's no, what? Oh my God. This was just, it came out of nowhere. And I am still so stunned that it's real. Michelle was just such a huge part of so many of our childhoods and like our adolescence and stuff. She has always been such a brilliant actress. I first knew her from Harriet the Spy, and the way that I loved that movie, I had to have that same notebook that Harriet the Spy had as well. I thought she was the most beautiful child, and just seeing her in Gossip Girl as well, I was so excited for her to be on that show. And so just, I've always loved Michelle Trachtenberg, and just, it's so crazy how much these actors or these singers or just these public facing people touch our lives. And sometimes you don't even realize it, right? Because I hadn't personally seen Michelle in anything in a really long time, but it's still just, especially because like she was a part of my childhood and my adolescence and stuff, it still feels like you're losing someone that you know or something. It's heartbreaking. And so in seeing you guys talking about how touching this has been to you in your own lives and where you all remember her from, like, it's so special, and I hope that she knew how much she was loved, because sometimes this happens with famous people, especially if they were extremely famous once upon a time, and then that kind of dwindles out. They forget that there are still so many people who love and care about them and who support them, right? And so I really hope that she knew that she was loved. Brittany says, I definitely woke up feeling heavy this morning. I loved Michelle and Buffy, Harriet the Spy, Gossip Girl, The Adventures with Pete and Pete. The list goes on. Gone way too soon. So talented and beautiful. I completely agree. Eliana loved Michelle Trachtenberg from Ice Princess. That was one of her favorite movies. Rest in peace, Michelle. I'm just really loving like hearing you guys' own stories about like where you knew her from, where you loved her from. Kimberly loved her in Gossip Girl. Every time she appeared, her character would cause trouble, right? Like she had just that black cat energy mastered in her role on Gossip Girl. Oh my God. This to me calls for a Gossip Girl rewatch. And Gossip Girl has a special place in my heart because that was one of the books that I could not put down as a child. It reminds me so much of like my elementary school friends, one of my friends, Chelsea, because we were such Gossip Girl lovers, y'all. We would read all the books, and then like if she'd have a book that I didn't have, she'd loan it to me. And if I had a book that she didn't have, I'd loan it to her. And then it was do you guys remember the sequel to Gossip Girl, It Girl? I loved it. There was also like the A-list, like there was just something so much, but I think the A-list was written by a different author, if I'm not mistaken, but there was just something so magical about this universe to me. And so just everything about it has just, honestly, like it really has touched my heart, just like it's touched all of you guys' hearts as well. And so rest in peace to Michelle Trachtenberg. I do have to say that more information has been revealed about her passing, but this is I really love and respect TMZ as a publication. I do think that they are very honest and open, even when they get things wrong. I think that they're a trustworthy source. However, and I think that's it too, Jen, right? Like you're reminded more and more of your own mortality as people in your age range, start to pass away. One thing about TMZ is that I do think that they take things too far sometimes. So there are some details that they have revealed that I'm personally not going to share here on this channel. All I will say of the information that we have been privy to is that her mom, unfortunately, was the person who discovered that she had passed away. It's being said that her body might have rejected a liver transplant that she received within the past year or so. And in that vein, I do have to say, the article that my brother had sent to me was from the New York Post, right? So the New York Post, they had a title saying, Michelle Trachtenberg passed away after a series of troubling social media posts, right? So when someone really Young passes away. And then in a title or in an article, they're hinting that she was writing these troubled things that were worrying people. The first thing that comes to your mind is suicide, right? So that's what I thought had happened. So I do want to say I'm disappointed in the way that the New York Post broke the story. It was very, very misleading, in my opinion. Okay. So TMZ is clearing it up. No, that was not the case. It might have been complications from a liver transplant that she recently received. Okay. A representative for Michelle told TMZ, and I quote, "It is with great sadness to confirm that Michelle Trachtenberg has passed away. The family requests privacy for their loss. There are no further details at this time." And unfortunately, because they have such deep law enforcement sources and context, TMZ was able to get more details than the family wanted to see revealed. And some of those details that they revealed were just, in my opinion, they should be ashamed of revealing that sort of thing. It's too much. We don't deserve to know all that, not even don't deserve, but it's none of our business, right? All we can do now is just uplift her memory and continue to share and bond and connect over our love of Michelle Trachtenberg, okay? Kambule was just watching her character on Gossip Girl Tuesday, and Theo, you know it, I was a ferocious reader in that time, and I miss that era. I have so many books here, and like I half read them, but I really need to get back into that. I think it's the TikTok brain now. Like I have such a hard time really fully committing to finishing a book. And so I'm trying, y'all. Jaleesa said, "My grandpa passed away at 48 years old from complications of a liver transplant. I am so sorry to hear that. Rest in peace to him as well." Like it's so difficult. It's so common for the body to reject transfers and stuff like that. And so it's always still so shocking and sad when you hear this sort of thing. So, best wishes to Michelle's family. I saw a comment from somebody about Ali. Let me see what you had to say here, because I only glimpsed it. I was really kind of disgusted with TMZ tying Blake Plantation Barbie Lively off the jump to the story. Oh God, are you, is this about her post? Because I actually have her post here as well. Blake Lively did make a post about Michelle Trachtenberg that has been catching quite a lot of publicity recently. Other celebrities have spoken out as well, in addition to Kenan Thompson. Kenan, did some acting with her in the Nickelodeon world and everything. And he wrote a really sweet message about, check on the people around you. She was the first Nickelodeon movie star, really just uplifting her. And Blake did also uplift her in her own post as well, with a photo of the two of them on the set of Gossip Girl, with a caption that reads, and I quote, "This is the first day I met Michelle. She was electricity. You knew when she entered a room because the vibration changed. Everything she did 200%. She laughed the fullest at someone's joke. She faced authority head on when she felt something was wrong. She cared deeply about her work. She was proud to be a part of this community and industry, as painful as it could be sometimes. She was fiercely loyal to her friends and brave for those she loved. She was big and bold and distinctly herself, and she always had yummy caramel smelling lip gloss on because she didn't want to sparkle. She didn't just want to sparkle on camera. She liked creating a nice experience for anyone who was in her orbit, even down to the subtle smell of her lip gloss, because she cared about the sweet details." I have to say that line is actually really, really adorable. She was a kind person through and through. Time passes, you take for granted that you get the chance to see an old friend. To paraphrase, the real ones that blindside you, wait, what? The real tragedies in life are the ones that blindside you on an idle Tuesday. Hold those you love and have loved dear. The world lost a deeply sensitive and good person in Michelle. May her work and her huge heart be remembered by those who were lucky enough to experience her fire. I'm really touched by the message that Blake has shared here about Michelle Trachtenberg. And again, I really, do hope and wish and pray for Michelle Trachtenberg to rest in peace. I had no idea that she had any sort of medical complications going on, a liver transplant, any of that. She really, really, really kept it under wraps and everything. And so there were some photos of Michelle recently that had people kind of stirring about her appearance. This is one of the last known photos of her here at an event. And so some people, when they would see pictures of her, they would talk about her weight, her eyes, or the tinting of her skin and stuff. And so some of her last messages on social media, unfortunately, were her fighting with people about her appearance when people would make comments on her appearance. Some of it was concern trolling, right? Where people go, oh, like, you look like you're so big, like this, or you look like you're so small, are you okay? Whereas they don't care, they just want to criticize you. However, I do think that sometimes some people are being helpful. There was a story, correct me if I'm wrong, but was there not someone from a reality show or something like that where they had like this lump on their throat or something, and it was a weather forecaster or someone, and people watching would be like, hey, you need to get that checked out. You need to get that checked out. And so the person went and got it checked out, and it turned out it was like a tumor or something like that. So sometimes I do believe that people are coming from a good place. In fact, that also happened in the 90 Day Fiance universe, where someone found out that they had hyperthyroidism through the audience, right? So I do think that that is the case sometimes, but I do think sometimes that people are just looking to criticize. So, it makes me sad that this was the sort of thing that she was seeing in her final days, and she was hiding this illness this entire time. AG says it's crazy. Selena Gomez's kidney transplant went well, but I think even she has had some issues, right, and continuous flare-ups with her lupus and those issues as well. And I hope that it continues to go well for her, because she's another young star who has a whole host of health issues that are unfortunately negatively impacting her day-to-day life. Mona Lana says it's sad, she will be missed. No one should have criticized her though. And I agree, hate to see it. Jasmine says those kinds of people are disgusting. Did we not learn from Chad Boswick? Exactly. I agree with that. Brittany says what Blake posted about Michelle was actually very touching. If these are her feelings and they're genuine, she'll be able to express them, even if she's not so easy to like these days. And I agree. I thought it was a very, very sweet message. She did act with her on Gossip Girl. And so a lot of times when these passings happen, especially these untimely passings, people are looking to their former co-stars, celebrities that they knew and associated with, to speak up and to share their own kind of memories of them. And so I thought it was very, very sweet. I just want to put up this picture of her again, because this is how I saw her for the first time. And this is how I'll always remember Michelle Trachtenberg, is that adorable little spy with that beautiful yellow jacket.